Hi, welcome back to day 2 of the 100-Day Project. I'm going to do a quick recap of what I talked about yesterday. So yesterday I introduced you guys to the concept of how does reality and truth actually work. This is really important because I want you guys to understand that what we most of the time think is reality. For instance, when you think somebody looked at you funny, or somebody is cranky with you, or somebody doesn't like you, that is your perception. It is not necessarily reality. So I'm just going to do a quick recap. Why do I think this is important, and how does it work? So yesterday I said that every single second we get hit by 2 million bits of information. Now when I say 2 million bits of information, this is what your 5 senses get hit by all the time. This is your sense of vision, your hearing, your sense of feeling, taste, smell. These are the 5 senses that I'm talking about. And so imagine, even just right now, wherever you are, where you're watching the video, you're looking at me and you're hearing to my voice, and afterwards, when you go away from the video, you will only remember a fraction. You can't possibly remember everything, every tiny little detail. It is only a small amount that you will be able to remember. That is what I'm talking about. Now, the thing with that small fraction of information that you will be able to remember is different for everybody. So yesterday I gave you the example of if you and your friend were witnessing an accident, a car crash, and you were both standing on different sides of the road. So you were on the left and your friend was on the right. You're witnessing the same accident. You will have different stories because you were both having a different point of view in that moment. You saw different things happening. And maybe even as extreme that the model of the car that you're describing, the color of the car is different, because in your memory you're pretty sure that it was a red car, but in actual fact it was a blue car. So our memory and the senses, our senses, and what we remember, what is being let into our conscious, is filtered. It is very filtered. So your friend, for instance, will have a completely different idea and a different memory of the same event you both attended. And so that's why reality and truth are different for every different person, for every person. So your reality is based on what you focus on. You focus on only those bits of information that you're letting through. There is a huge amount of things that you don't notice, a huge amount of detail that you don't notice. And so what that means is that when we basically go through the world, we're constantly assessing. This is the job of our brain. Our brain's job is to keep us safe. Our brain's job is to protect us. It's basically our survival mechanism. So your brain is a supercomputer, and its job is to take all the memories, all the experiences, everything that you hear, everything that you see, everything you're being told, and to process it and figure out how can it use the information provided to help you survive best. That is what is the brain's job, right? It's your subconscious job to protect you and to have you survive. So going back to the 2 million bits of information that hit you all the time, you only filter the bits that your brain thinks is important in that very moment. So if you're focusing on I'm ugly or nobody likes me, then you will be looking for evidence. Subconsciously, not consciously, but subconsciously, you will be out there looking for evidence to support your belief. So the information that you focus on is just that. If somebody gives you a strange look, you go, right, see, there you is, there it is. That's the evidence. That is the reason why I know that they don't like me. If somebody has a strange tone in their voice, or says something to you, you go, right, see, I knew it. They don't like me. Fact is that person that you just made that assessment on, that they don't like you, they have their own focus, they have their own filter, and it is different to you. So they will be noticing different things. They may be having similar thoughts to you and thinking, she doesn't like me, and so they're insecure around you. The main thing is that I want you to understand that reality and truth is different for everybody, because everybody is just able to take in a small portion of what is actually happening around you. And what you notice depends on what you focus on. And your focus depends on your filter. So when we're talking now about filters, a filter is basically your perception. It is your idea of what is going on. It is your assessment of the world around you. So let's take me for an example. You're watching the video and you're wondering, for instance, that accent, where's she from? What is she wearing? What's that strange room? What's that in the background? These are all thoughts that will be running through your head, and it is part of your assessing ability. It is part of your subconscious job to figure out what is going on, what information is important, what do I need to remember. And if your friend and you are watching the video, both of you will have a different story of what you remember and what I actually said. You won't be able to remember everything. So what determines what you remember and what determines what you focus on is what we call a filter. And that filter is basically what you think is going on in your life. So if your opinion about your life is that nobody likes me, if your opinion in life is that I'm not good enough, or it may be I'm a loser, or I can't get anything done, then this is all you focus on subconsciously. In order to get away from it, you have to ask yourself, what am I choosing not to notice? So this is a really strange concept. So going back to all this information that is happening around you, all the detail, you need to start paying attention to the things that you normally wouldn't pay attention to. And this is really hard because it's become habit. It's become your habit to only focus on the things you've always focused on for pretty much most of your life. It has become habit. So breaking away from that is really looking at things for the first time, looking at things with fresh eyes, and understanding that what is happening around you is not necessarily reality, because it is just a small little slither of what you know. It is just a small little slither of what you can see and what you understand is going on, because you don't know the entire picture. You don't know everything that is going on. You're missing information, which is the bit that you're choosing subconsciously not to notice. So I'm going to show you a little drawing now. So imagine this is the 2 million bits of information, right, that I'm talking about, that hits you every single second. All right? And so here is you. Okay? And so all you're paying attention to is that section of the 2 million bits of information. This is all you're paying attention to. This is all you see. Okay? Over here is your friend. And your friend chooses to notice this section. Okay, so your stories won't match about the same event. She or he chooses to only notice that section. Now, on top of that, you have that filter that I was talking about earlier on, right? You both have a filter and you both have a different filter. Okay, no filter is the same. And so your filter may be that you say, you know, in this moment, I don't like myself, or nobody likes myself, or I'm stupid. And her filter might be, you know, I wish I was prettier, or I wish I was smarter. So everything that is happening in those 2 million bits of information, everything that is being said, that happens, that you see, will have a focus and a filter on that topic. So this is very much driven. Your filter is driving your attention to what fits your topic, that topic that is going on in your head. And so what I'm challenging you to is to try and bypass your filter and basically go, okay, what am I choosing not to notice? So what, for instance, is here? See, we are meaning-making machines. Our computer, our brain inside us, its job is to keep us safe, as I said earlier on. So what we constantly do on an ongoing basis is we're assessing our environment. We're looking for threats. We're looking for things that might harm us. That is the job of our subconscious. It's our survival mechanism. And that survival mechanism is a really, really good function. You obviously want that. But what as a result happens is that in your brain there is this constant noise going on. There's constantly a little voice talking in your head, commenting on everything that happens. So there's non-stop somebody commenting and saying, you know, what's happening here? What's happening there? What's she thinking about me? What's he thinking about me? How do I come across? Am I okay? Do people like me? So this constant assessing is that noise that is going on in your head. And I guarantee you that for most of the time you're actually going to get it wrong, because you don't have all the information you need in order to assess it correctly. That's the thing. So in a way, you might as well dismiss the voice in your head and go, you know, if I can't have all the information that I need in order to really understand what's going on, then really, why stress? Why bother? You know, I might as well just be me and understand that the friends around me or the people around me, I don't know enough to understand what is going on with them. So I give you another example. For instance, let's say we're meeting, right? And so let's say, you know, I kind of like say hi to you, but I'm sitting there like that, and I say like, oh, hi, what are you doing here? And you immediately go, you know, that's not nice, so therefore she doesn't like me. She's not happy to see me. What you don't know is that, you know, maybe I'm kind of like concerned because something's going on. And what you don't know is that I'm actually really now concerned that you're here, you know, not because I don't like you, but maybe because, you know, I'm worried that something's going to happen to you or whatever. So you never know enough about what is really going on. I can give you probably an example based on your parents. Quite often, you know, our parents nag us and they might say, have you cleaned up your room? Have you done your homework or something like that? And all you hear is, you have that filter by now built in, and all you hear is, I can never do anything right. I can never do anything, you know, good enough for them. They're never happy with me. That's your filter. It's become your filter, and every conversation with your parents goes through that. What you therefore stop hearing is the reason why they're saying it. So, you know, your mom might say, have you cleaned up your room? And it is not to say, you know, oh, because you haven't done it in the last week. It is actually to say, because if you have done it, then we could actually go out and have ice cream. So it's the problem with assessing non-stop and not having all the information is that for most of the time we get it wrong. And the thing with assessment is that we have our filters, and the filters distort what is reality. It distorts the information that is coming in. And therefore, the truth and reality is something that is really very personal. It depends on what you're focusing on. It depends on your fears. It depends on your worries of what you're scared of. It depends on what you would like to have in your life. And so filters is something that once you understand what your filter is, everything is a little bit easier. Life can be much, much easier if you understand through what filter is all the information going through, because all of a sudden you already start to understand how your brain works, what you think, why you have the thoughts you have, and why you kind of feel that certain things in your life are not working out or make you miserable. So that sounds maybe all a little bit confusing, and it's probably a lot to take in. Just try and understand that if everybody sees something different in every given second, and we never take in the same bits of information, how can we have the same reality? And how can you ever really understand what the other person sees in that very moment? And that they will see something different in you than you see in yourself, because you have different filters. Filters, by the way, what are they made up of? Filters are made up of your behavior, experience, your upbringing, your culture, religion, language, ethics, all sorts of things, and also your values. Values is something that we talk about a little bit later on as well. Your values are really important. Values is what you held very, very, very dear. So it could be, for instance, a value that most of us share is love. Love is very important to all of us. We all want to be loved. We all want to be lovable. We all want to be likable. That all comes down to love. So love is a quite common value that we all share. And our values that we hold really dear, they're very different to everybody. So for me, for instance, a very strong value of mine is inspiration. I want to inspire people. That is a very important value to in my life. But I have other values as well, like honesty or like integrity or authenticity. These are all important values to me. So a value forms your core belief, it forms your identity, it forms who you are, but it also changes your filters, or your filters are influenced by your values, and they're influenced by your behavior, by your upbringing, by your parents, by the people around you, by all these things that have input in influencing you and your thoughts. So a filter is something that changes non-stop. It is not a fixed thing. It changes, and you have influence on your own filter. You have a say on your own filter once you become conscious of what that filter is and what it is made up of. So if you are at the moment in a space where everything is doom and gloom and you don't feel good about yourself, that's totally fine, because as you're going through this program with me, you will start to realize that you can change how you think, and you can change your world, and you can change your reality and your perception and your truth. And that is basically the easy thing about that, is just start noticing what you normally don't notice. Change your perception, change your perspective. Get conscious as to what are your filters, what is your truth. That core belief deep inside you that you hold dear as your truth, your personal truth. And so what I'm talking about is that you may think I'm dumb, or you may think I'm stupid, or you may think I'm ugly, or nobody likes me, or I can't get anything right. That is what I say is what you would be looking for as your core truth and your filter. And that filter is made up of all sorts of influences that have happened in your life that you chose to call your truth and your reality. And what I'm inviting you to do is to see beyond it. Look beyond it and see if you can take the filter off. Just like a pair of glasses, take them off and see how the world looks different. See if you can take that filter off, drop it down, and just get conscious. What does the world look like when you're not looking at it through those filters? Because all of a sudden you will get hit with different bits of information. You will start noticing different things. As we go further down the track, I will explain to you that happiness and survival is not, that there are two things that can't exist in the same space. If you want to be happy, and if that is your goal, then you have to get out of the survival mode. And part of what we're doing, and what the filter's purpose is, and what the purposes of your subconscious is, to keep you safe, as I said earlier on. The subconscious's job is to keep you, to have you surviving as best as it can do. So everything that we're talking about here has got a sense in its own right. It all has got a good place. But it is sometimes good when you can learn to take those glasses off, take the filters off, and be able to see the world in a different light. So now that we talked about quite a lot here in terms of truth and reality and whatever, I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah, here's probably another point that I just quickly wanted to make. So your insecurity feeds a lot into your filters, and your filters are often driven by a low self-esteem or a low self-confidence, and that would basically be mirrored by saying, you know, I don't feel I'm good enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or nobody likes me. That is fed by insecurity and by a low self-confidence. So just be conscious that that is what pushes that focus for you to constantly look for evidence on supporting your case, your belief, your truth. And somebody else around you will not be able to see the same thing as you do. And you just need to understand that there is a parallel universe that is completely different to yours, and it is also true, and it is about you. And it is what your friends and the people who love you tell you about you. That is true. It is true in their world. And you just need to understand that what drives you to not be able to see it is your insecurity and your low self-esteem or low confidence. That is what has that, what holds you in its grip. So see if you can take off those glasses, see if you can take off those filters and choose to notice what you normally don't notice. Try and see the world from a different perspective. Try and see the world as much as you can, for instance, from your friend's perspective, from your parents' perspective, and really understand within their context, within all the things that feed into their filters, what is it, how do they see the world? What do your parents see? You know, if they say they're worried about you not doing your homework or whatever, that will come from a place where they want you to have a better life than them, where they want you to be successful, where they want you to, you know, have all the money you want or whatever, or have the things that you want in your life. It comes from a good place. Everything we do actually comes from a good intention. It's just a way how it affects other people often that causes the conflict. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. So next time you are in a situation where somebody gives you a strange look, or you are in a conversation that doesn't sound quite right, or you feel your insecurities come on, or you have those thoughts coming back, see, I knew it, they don't like me, or you have the thoughts come back, you know, like, I'm dumb and I can't do it. Remember, this is the moment where your filter is coming on strong. And then ground yourself, look around the room and take in the detail, take in the texture, take in all the bits of information that you would normally not pay attention to. Try and change your perspective. Try and look at the situation from a completely different perspective. Step away from your normal filter and try and look at the whole situation that you are in from a completely fresh point of view. It's like in that car accident. Stand on a different side of the road and you're going to have a different story of what just happened. So that's what I want to leave you with for today, and hopefully that wasn't too much to take in. I know it's sometimes a little bit confusing, but as we go through it, I'm hoping that it's going to become a little bit clearer. Cool. Thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.